Just a week ago, her party held the first in the South dinner and the last presidential debate for the Democrats before the Iowa caucus here in Charleston. And in this special edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I speak exclusively with the first vice chair of the South Carolina Democratic Party, Kaye Koonce. Okay, it's so good to see you.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Let me start off with the obvious. As you know, Mayor Tecklenburg will hold his first State of the City address tonight. And I'm wondering, when you think about that, what would you like to see in that particular address?
Well, goodness, I guess I'm excited, like everybody else, to hear his vision for the city. I think we heard some of that in his inaugural address. I'm sure he'll flesh that out a little, and it's always exciting to hear somebody new. We all, of course, will give lots of thanks and praise to Mayor Riley, but we have to recognize that it's time to move on, and we're looking forward to hearing what Mayor Tecklenburg has to tell us.
And looking forward, let's talk about Justin Bamberg. He's the state representative for South Carolina, I believe, Bamberg and Orangeburg counties. And from what I understand, you're actually a supporter of Hillary Clinton.
Yes, I am.
He actually switched his vote from Hillary Clinton to Bernie Sanders.
He did.
And I'm wondering, what goes through your mind when you think of that?
Well, of course, we're sorry to lose any supporter, but I'm hoping that once Secretary Clinton is the nominee, that he will support her, and I'm sure he will.
Let me refresh your memory. You said the following in a newsletter to the members of the South Carolina Democratic Party just recently. You said, quote, "Wow, 2015 is now in the rearview mirror, and what a year this off year was. Just in the last few months, South Carolina has been in the center of the political universe." And as we sit here right now, what was the off year like in your mind?
Well, as the vice chair of the South Carolina Democratic Party, I felt like it was pretty busy. You know, we in the few months right before I wrote that 2016 Happy New Year newsletter, we had a very successful forum in Rock Hill, and getting ready for that was very busy. Again, it was the off year, and that was really the main thing in my mind. We had so many great volunteers in Rock Hill, particularly in all of the upstate, and our very small but very dedicated and great staff. There are only 4 full-time staff members at the state party, so they had a lot of work to do to get that done. We, of course, are preparing for the primary, and then county reorganization meetings are in the first part of March, and then the county conventions the end of March, and then our state convention, and then of course our national convention. And as vice chair of the party, I'll have lots of work to do to try to support our chairman, Jamie Harrison, and our staff. So that's what I had in mind, I guess.
And let me talk more about the newsletter, because you also said this, quote, "For the next 2 months, South Carolina will continue to be important in the political landscape on a national level. And then we will need to focus on the hard work without all the attention on building our party and get out the vote efforts for the state and local races in November. Of course, we will also do everything we can to show that Democrats in South Carolina are not extinct or in danger." And you say that Democrats in South Carolina are not extinct or in danger. So what are you guys?
We are working hard. We are working hard to be sure that folks know that the Democratic Party is the home for all South Carolinians. We feel like that South Carolina Democratic Party is a big tent. Of course, every party says that, but I think it's true in our case, and we'd like to be sure that folks recognize that they're voting against their own self-interests when they vote for Republicans, because we have such a need in South Carolina for infrastructure, obviously. And infrastructure means roads and bridges, you know. That's a lot easier way to say it and get it in folks' minds. But that's one thing that Democrats support, and the Republicans in our state house have not supported. The governor has not supported that. The governor has not supported Medicaid expansion, and the number is, I think, close to 200,000 individuals in South Carolina who would benefit from Medicare expansion in South Carolina. Those are just a couple of the ways that I think folks are not really focused on their own best self-interest, and that Democrats would do a much better job of bringing those kinds of programs like Medicaid, or taking care of our roads and bridges and infrastructure, not to mention education, and improving education in South Carolina, which is important, obviously, for everybody.
Describe to me the following one word: the First in the South dinner.
Well, that was several words. Describe it in one word. Well, it was exciting. It was exciting, I guess, would be the one word. But to expound upon
Sure,
that,
please.
We had all three of our candidates speak to the attendees. The dinner was sold out.
Right.
We had, I think it was 750 some odd folks there, which was great. That was here in
Right.
Charleston, and in connection with the debate the
Right.
next night.
Right.
So when I spoke in that newsletter about being the center of the political universe for the next 2 months, that was a part of what I was talking about. And then, of course, we'll have our primary on February 27th, on Saturday, February 27th, and we're busy trying to be sure that all Democrats know that our primary is February 27th. The Republicans have theirs a week earlier, and so we don't want folks to get mixed up and go on the wrong day. That's the kind of the most important part to us for the next couple of months, getting folks to the polls. I also would say that tomorrow is the last day to register to be able to vote in that primary. You have to be registered 30 days in advance, and tomorrow is January 27th.
Right.
So that's important.
And let's talk more about the debate, because obviously that happened almost 2 weeks ago now, and that happened on a Sunday, and all eyes were on Charleston and the three presidential candidates as they took on each other at the Gilliard Center for the last time before the Iowa caucuses. And as I mentioned just earlier, you actually are a supporter of Hillary Clinton, and I'm really thinking this: when you saw her up on that stage, where was your state of mind?
Well, I was excited to see all three of them, because we have three great candidates, and as lots of Democrats would say, any of our candidates beat all of the Republican candidates in terms of substance and being prepared to be the President of the United States. But of course, as a Hillary Clinton supporter, and I guess full disclosure is in order, I grew up in Arkansas.
Right.
I've known her since I was a young lawyer just out of law school in 1982.
Right.
So I am just thrilled to hear her do as well as she does in those debate settings, and I would love to see lots more debates. On the other hand, I agree with the chairwoman, Debbie Wasserman Schultz of the party, that you can have way too many, and everybody has their own number as to what's the perfect number. But regardless of the number, I am delighted to see our candidates all do so well in the debates, and particularly Secretary Clinton.
Complete these sentences for me. Governor Haley stated the state address was
expected. I think she did a good job. However, I will tell you that Representative Mandy Powers Norrell did the response, the Democratic response, and I wish as many people heard what she had to say as heard the governor, because Representative Norrell Powell's response was just excellent in laying out the differences, I think, between the two parties. And I think both women did a very good job of setting the tone and in recognizing what we had to recognize in terms of what this state went through in 2015.
President Obama stated the Union address was
bittersweet, because it was his last one. I thought it was an excellent speech, as lots of the commentators, people who are much better analysts than I, talked about how different it was to his other State of the Union speeches. I thought it was great to hear him speak more from the heart, I think, and to talk about his goals for the next, at that point, 360 some odd days, and see the urgency that he had in trying to do things for the American people that need to be done.
Kaye Koonce will continue to
I will continue to volunteer for the South Carolina Democratic Party, particularly for the next 14 or so months that I am serving as the vice chair.
Right.
After that, I'll step back and leave it to other folks. I've spent more than 40 years volunteering for the Democratic Party. My husband would tell you it's a genetic defect in my family, actually, because we all find that kind of service and other kind of volunteer work very important to us. But I think after that second term as vice chair, I'll step back and find some other ways to contribute to the community.
And your counterpart is actually, and this is a rumor here, that she's actually running for a House seat in Columbia, Lynn Bennett. And I was wondering, as we sit here right now, are you going to go after that same path as far as running for a House seat?
Oh, absolutely.
Or a Senate seat?
Absolutely not. I am not going to run for anything. This is the vice chair position was something that I was interested in doing so that I could help our new chair. As you know, Jamie Harrison is the first African American chair that we've had.
Right.
Our rules require that the first vice chair be a race other than the chair, which meant obviously Caucasian, and I was happy to do that. I have no other ambitions to run for any office, including chair of the party. Lots of my friends hear me say this a lot. If I'd wanted to do that, I could have done so in 2011. Okay. I was honored and humbled that Congressman Clyburn and former Governor Hodges both asked me to do that. But I tell you, the main job is raising money, and I have no interest in spending a lot of time trying to raise money for the party, and that's one of the chair's chief jobs. And I knew that is not my strength or my interest.
So what is your strength?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know that I have a lot of strengths, to tell you the truth. I guess I'd say that I'm a pretty good organizer and a very good nag. And trying to prod folks to do things that they want to do. But, particularly a lot of folks have so many irons in the fire that I think it's important. And this is actually one of the things that I ran on. When I ran for first vice chair, I said I would be the one to prod the chairman and the other officers to do the things that they promised. And I think I have, the chair would probably say I have over-fulfilled that that promise, but I think that's one of the things that I do fairly well is focus on things that we promise to do and try to help deliver.
That is awesome. Well, Kaye Koonce, I thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
I appreciate it.